Welcome back, Pangea family. This is John. Today we're going to be going through the MistKing misting system with you today. Before we jump right in, let's go ahead and look at what comes in the box. First off, you have your reference manual that has any answers to any questions that we do not currently cover in our guide. And I give you a generous amount of connectors as well as misting heads so you can build any assembly that's needed for your requirements. And of course, you have the power brick for your pump. Obviously the pump of itself. And then we have our zip drip, which we'll explain more later. And my favorite part is actually this nice little timer they come with. It's my favorite timer that they have. It is the digital seconds timer, 24 VDC, or the ST24. This is a really good timer that I could not recommend more. If you need multiple timers, this is the one I pick up. And of course, you have your nice amount of tubing provided with your kit, as well as the nice little MistKing keychain. All right, let's jump right into it. All right, so let's start off. We're going to have to go ahead and grab a nice little bucket for our reservoir. It's recommended for the basic system about a 5-gallon bucket with a nice little lid, but obviously a bigger system is going to need a bigger reservoir. So to start off, go ahead and grab a 1/2-inch bit, just like the one we have here. You're going to take your drill, press it nice and firmly against the bucket. All right, until you break through just like that. Then once your hole is nice and established, you're going to go ahead and grab the bag with all the connectors. You're going to look for a piece just like this. It's going to have a little nut attached to it. This is called your bulkhead. Your bulkhead is what's going to connect your reservoir to the tubing. And if you notice this little plastic ring on it, it's called the O-ring. This is what keeps it from leaking. So we're going to take the bulkhead, we're going to remove the nut, stick the bulkhead, get it nice and in there. You're going to take your nut and you're going to tighten it as hard as you can. Try to get as tight as completely possible. Then if you feel like, just for low insurance, you can grab a wrench and do a 1/2 turn just for low insurance. Then go ahead and take a little piece of tubing. Just gently but firmly get in there until you can't feel it going anymore. All right, so next we're going to hop over and we're going to connect our reservoir to our zip drip to our pump. Now that we've finished our reservoir, let's go ahead and grab our zip drip. You're going to look for the male end of the T part right here. Go ahead and insert it into the intake part of your pump, just like the first tube, nice and firm, just get as always you can there. Then we're going to take another piece of tubing. Go ahead and cut the tubing as far as you need for your assembly. Get in there. The simple rule for your tubing is that your reservoir is always going to want to be gravity fed. So that's why you have our bulkhead on the bottom. So gravity will pull the water down through the tubing, so it's really not as pressureful on the tubing itself. Then go ahead and go in your connector bag. You're going to look for this. It's going to look exactly like what it is. It's called a control valve. It's basically the on and off switch for your water flow. Go ahead and take one end, nice and firm all the way in. And the other end, nice and firm all the way in. And quickly, if you ever need to assemble anything, you'll see right here on either end of the little connectors, you're going to want to push that little lip in and just pull nice and firmly, just like that. Do not force anything. You will damage your unit. All right, let's go ahead and make sure to keep it connected. Then we're going to take this male electrical end on your zip drip and then the female electrical end on your pump. Go ahead and line up properly. Which I think I had it right the first time. All right. And that's how you connect your reservoir to your zip drip all the way to your pump. All right, next thing is the best part. Go ahead and connect your assembly to your tank. So before we actually go ahead and install our misting head, we're going to go ahead and grab a nice little screen top wedge, which is available on Pangea. The purpose of this is since the Zuma and Axoterra tops have this nice little mesh on it, when you go to drill or even insert the mist head itself, there's a strong chance like the weight is going to cause it to pop off. So what this wedge does is give it nice support so when you're installing it, you don't worry about damaging your top as much. So you're going to line up, you're going to want to see the MistKing symbol on the top. We're going to line up just like that. What you're aiming for is that nice little pyramid right there in that corner. And included with your wedge are these 4 screws. You want to grab your nice Phillips head drill, and go ahead and install it. Now that all our screws are nice and installed, this is what it's going to look like. Once again, have that nice little triangle pyramid right there. All right, once you're finished with your screws, go ahead and switch your bit out and your drill from your Phillips into your 1/2" bit. Now for this part, we're going to recommend get a nice little support. Like right here, we have a scrap wood. This is just so once again, when you're drilling, you're not putting so much pressure on the screen, causing it to pop out. You're going to take this nice piece of wood or whatever you're using for support, lay it right down here so the whole nice matches up. Go ahead and take your 1/2 bit. This one you're going to need a little bit more pressure for than just your screws. There we go. So you have a nice, clear little hole. All right. Now that our wedge is installed, our nice and hole is nice and drilled, get to the fun part of actually putting the MistKing system together. All right, friends, we finally reached the last step. Now, before we go forward, just remember that your setup might be completely different than ours. You might want 4 nozzles in your tank. You might have 8 tanks. Just remember, don't be intimidated. It's not that hard. As long as you follow the steps that we've shown you, you can basically set up any kind of MistKing system you need. All right, so to begin, go ahead and grab your mister head from the MistKing head, a little baggie. It's going to look just like this. Go ahead and take the nut off. All right, just like that. Take your screen, you're going to push it in just like so. All right, once you get your mister nice in there, take your little nut and go ahead and tighten it all the way. All right. Once that's nice and in there, go ahead and put it right back on top of your tank. So it sits nice and beautifully just like that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take that big bundle of tubing you have, cut it to any sizes that you need. You're going to want to reach from your pump all the way up to your nozzle head. So this one we have right, I believe it's, yep, right here. Go ahead and insert it into your pump. Once again, firmly, but not too much pressure. You don't want to damage anything. All right, you're going to go ahead and grab your connector bag. And from here, oh, I grabbed the wrong bag. Your connector bag, you want to grab this little T looking thing. It's going to have the 3 ends. It's going to have the 3 female ends. You're going to take one end. You're going to plug it into the bottom of the T, just like that. Once again, firmly, but not a lot of pressure. Then you're going to take a nice little small little tubing, put in the bottom female into your misting valve, just like that. Make sure it's nice and in there. All right, then we're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a longer piece of tubing. And we're just going to connect this tubing from this all the way to your zip drip right here. All right. So the reason for this tubing, so basically when your mister is off, instead of the loose water just constantly dripping into your tank and causing humidity fluctuators, this tubing is going to connect to your zip drip. Your zip drip is going to pull the loose moisture and water that's still settled in there. It's going to pull it through. Nice little constant little cycle. Once again, start from the reservoir, gets pulled up, spray, 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 spray stops, suck the loose water back up, and just like that. All right, once you get her nice and plugged in, you should be all set to go.